This kid accidentally stumbles upon an alien watch that allows its wearer to transform into various strange creatures. With this newfound power, he must confront an enemy capable of controlling space-time who intends to use an alien fleet to invade Earth. How will our young hero manage to stop this dangerous plan? Let's find out. In downtown Bellwood, a mysterious villain begins demolishing shops and parked cars around him. Just then, a fiery lava-like figure appears. It's our protagonist, Ben, in his alien form known as Heat Blast. Since it's the middle of the night, Ben grumbles, "Shouldn't you be home in bed instead of causing a ruckus out here, pal?" But when the villain doesn't bother to respond, Ben decides to act, hurling a fireball that hits him square in the face, sending him crashing through a store window. After this first strike, Heat Blast tries to fly towards the villain for a finishing blow, but ends up caught by an energy beam, trapping him in a giant bubble. A few seconds later, the bubble bursts and Ben is sent flying straight into a dumpster. Just as he gets back on his feet, the police arrive and order them to stand still. But as Heat Blast tries to explain that everything is under control, a few henchmen appear and start engaging the officers. Realizing his side is outmatched, Ben creates a wall of fire to separate the two groups and takes on the alien soldiers himself, defeating them all with incredible ease. Finally, Heat Blast unleashes an intense stream of fire, like a furnace blast, seemingly vaporizing the main villain. Though it seemed a bit too easy, Ben doesn't dwell on it and extinguishes the wall of fire. He then moves to another location and reverts to his original human form, just as his grandpa Max and cousin Gwen arrive. Thinking the battle isn't over, Ben suggests they continue hunting down any remaining stragglers. But Grandpa Max replies that it's better to save it for another time and head home before the police suspect them of doing something shady. Though annoyed, Ben accepts his grandpa's advice and returns to his everyday life, heading to school the next morning. As soon as he arrives, Ben sees two girls discussing Heat Blast's appearance the previous night. He tries to join the conversation, but no one pays him any mind. On the stairs, Gwen is taking photos of students for the yearbook when Ben unexpectedly pops up in front of her camera. He starts talking about the mysterious enemies they faced, but Gwen tells him to forget about it because summer vacation is over and they should now live like normal kids. Listening to his cousin, Ben makes an effort to act like a normal student. But being too tame makes him an easy target for bullies who stick chewed gum on his locker door. While he's struggling to clean it off, the bullies appear and start teasing him. Annoyed, Ben throws the gum-covered papers at them, but as luck would have it, he hits the principal right in the face. And so, he gets detention. After a disastrous first day back at school, Ben returns to his grandpa's RV, where Max is testing a wrench-shaped laser weapon. Fed up with trying to live a normal life, the boy says he prefers his hero life and even wants to reveal his identity to everyone. Grandpa immediately objects, saying it's best to keep things as they are, and tells him he must return to a normal life and keep his identity secret at all costs. Though frustrated, Ben accepts his grandpa's command and returns to his parents' house. Meanwhile, the villain from the beginning is fuming over his recent defeat and takes his anger out on one of his henchmen. After calming down, he orders that Ben be found by any means necessary. He then uses his power to glimpse through space, locating an entire fleet of approaching spaceships. Unaware of the incoming alien army, Ben returns to school. Once again, he tries to fit in with the other students, this time by signing up for the talent show. When some girls ask him what he can do, this young hothead nearly pulls out his Omnitrix to show off, but luckily Gwen arrives just in time to stop him, telling him to put it away and save it for his magic act. After almost revealing his identity, Ben decides to go to a diner to grab something to eat. But while ordering, he notices a strange symbol on the cash register. He doesn't think much of it at the time. Suddenly, the school bullies show up and start teasing him. After they sit down at a table, Ben leaves the diner, determined to get revenge. He starts fiddling with his Omnitrix, searching for a suitable alien for this task. After a moment, he decides to transform into gray matter and returns to the diner, using his tiny size to cut the power and sabotage the wiring of all the machines. Once done, gray matter flips the circuit breaker back on and everything descends into chaos, with food flying everywhere, splattering all over the bullies. After getting his revenge, Ben goes to Gwen's room and finds her editing photos for the yearbook. When he sees his picture, he notices a blur next to him and asks his cousin to fix it. To do this, Gwen has to transfer the photo to different software, and in doing so, she discovers the masked villain from the other night, hidden in the blur. But Ben was sure he had vaporized him. Gwen speculates that he might have escaped, and, even worse, that he now knows Ben's true identity. While the two are debating all possibilities, Grandpa Max appears. As soon as he sees the photo on the laptop, he says this is Eon, an old acquaintance of the Intergalactic Police, who, 2 centuries ago, was the first alien captured by the Plumbers. For those who don't know, the Plumbers are a secret organization that monitors and prevents illegal alien activities on Earth and other planets. Max then explains that according to records, Eon was nearly destroyed but fought to protect a device he called the Hand of Armageddon, a doomsday weapon, an artifact capable of opening a space portal and launching an alien invasion that could wipe out humanity. Now knowing what they're up against, Grandpa tells everyone to pack their things because they need to head to headquarters, which makes Ben incredibly excited. While on the move, Max tries to call the Plumbers Research Center, but no one answers, which worries him greatly. When they arrive, the place is deserted, as if it's been abandoned for a long time. As soon as they pass through the entrance, Grandpa explains that they study aliens and their technology here. However, after searching around for a long time, they find no one. Suddenly, they notice smoke billowing from one of the doors and decide to go in and check. Everyone is horrified to discover the place has been completely destroyed. To find out what on earth happened, Grandpa wanders around the area searching for the person responsible for guarding the base. But when they find him, they realize the man has aged considerably and looks like a corpse. They think he's dead, but he suddenly jerks awake and grabs Ben's wrist, startling him so badly that he accidentally yanks off the poor old man's arm. The man then says that Eon caused all this and is looking for the Hand of Armageddon, so they need to stop him from reaching the warehouse where all the artifacts are stored. Seeing the Omnitrix wielder, the guard says Eon knows who Ben is and is hunting him. This strikes Ben as odd, since he'd never met this villain before that night's battle. While Ben is processing this information, the guard finally breathes his last. Knowing the enemy's objective, the group immediately heads to the warehouse, hoping to intercept the enemy in time. After a drive, the RV parks in front of a building supply store. Ben is surprised and asks if there's some mistake. They're supposed to be going to the organization's warehouse. But Grandpa smiles, showing him the secret activation for an elevator that leads to the Plumbers' underground headquarters. Upon entering, Ben sees the same symbol he saw on the cash register at the diner and says, "This thing is all over Bellwood." Grandpa explains it's the plumber symbol and it's time to meet the team. Just then, the diner owner and the principal suddenly appear, apologizing for never revealing their identities before, explaining that their job requires them to operate in secret to keep everyone safe. After a quick rundown, the group moves to the warehouse containing the artifact. Ben asks why, if the artifact is so dangerous, they didn't just destroy it from the start. The diner owner replies that they tried many times but couldn't succeed. The principal adds that after many attempts, they gave up on destroying the artifact and started protecting it, fighting Eon for years, but now the Plumbers are old and their numbers have dwindled. At this, Ben excitedly declares he's the hero they need and will definitely defeat Eon. While the Plumbers are mulling this over, the villain and his alien army begin their attack on the facility. Everyone has to immediately engage. To help Ben, the Plumbers go to the armory and grab some gear to deal with the enemy. But even armed to the teeth, their advanced age and frailty, blurry vision and trembling hands mean they are easily defeated. While everyone is fighting, Eon teleports near the Hand of Armageddon and tries to use his powers to activate it, but for some reason, nothing happens. Over here, Ben is fiddling with his Omnitrix to choose a suitable transformation when Eon grabs him from behind and drags him outside without anyone noticing. On the street, Eon touches the Omnitrix. The watch changes color and flashes purple. Ben struggles to break free, but when he tries to use the watch to transform, he realizes it's no longer working. Completely helpless, the boy flees on a bicycle, but Eon is hot on his heels, using his powers to control a car to chase him. This way, the villain corners Ben in an alley where he teleports to be alone with the boy. Eon explains that his race has the ability to control time, which is why he could distort its molecules to make Ben hallucinate when they first met. Now that it's just the two of them, Eon says he needs the Omnitrix to re-establish his race, but Ben refuses to hand it over. The alien advances, intending to take it by force. Just then, the man from the diner, a plumber, appears with a plumber's weapon and shoots Eon in the shoulder, forcing him to make a hasty retreat. After saving him, the old man tells Ben he should take this chance and get home as soon as possible. Back in his room, Ben is trying to lie down when Grandpa startles him. Panicked, the boy recounts everything that happened, revealing that Eon made the Omnitrix stop working. But when Grandpa analyzes the device, he finds everything is still fine. He says it's very likely Eon needs the device to power the Hand of Armageddon and asks his grandson to leave town to ensure his safety. But Ben, of course, refuses and insists on being allowed to hunt Eon with the plumbers. Left with no other choice, Grandpa has to accept and says he'll have other plumbers keep an eye on him, stationing people on the outskirts of the school. The next morning, Ben complains to Gwen that Eon will never show up and he'll never be able to beat him. To address this, the boy decides to go to the completely empty stadium to practice, but he ends up being followed by the principal, who realizes something is wrong and offers to help. Wanting to be alone to concentrate, Ben makes an excuse and declines. But just as the principal is about to leave, time starts to rewind and he's flung far away. Suddenly, the Omnitrix turns purple again. Knowing something is up, Ben tries to run for an exit but is caught by Eon, who tries to snatch the Omnitrix. Desperate, the boy activates the fire alarm and uses the opportunity to escape, using the watch to transform into Diamond Head. Now able to use his powers, Ben can defend himself against Eon's time blasts and counterattacks with Diamond Head shards, sending the enemy flying. After being hit, Eon gets up and says that since Ben activated the fire alarm, other students will soon arrive. Worried that others will see him, Ben looks again, but the enemy has vanished. This forces the boy to hide in the girls' locker room until his transformation time runs out. Along with the other students, Gwen arrives at the stadium and notices traces of Eon in the Diamond Head crystals leading towards the locker room door. When the transformation time ends, Ben comes out of the bathroom and tells Gwen he'll do what Eon wants, deciding to face him alone. To do this, the boy goes to a square in the town center, but coincidentally runs into Grandpa there. Seeing his grandkids alone, he asks what they're doing, and Gwen tells him about her cousin's plan, which makes Grandpa furious. After telling his grandkids it's a foolish idea, he calls them back to the RV to talk, but it explodes before they can even get in.
Just then, Eon's henchmen suddenly appear and capture all three, taking them to the warehouse at Plumber's headquarters. When he wakes up, Ben sees everyone hanging like chains. At that moment, Eon appears. Grandpa tries to persuade him to release his grandkids, saying he can keep the Omnitrix if he wants. Finding the offer laughable, the villain responds with an energy blast that nearly smashes Grandpa's skull. After nearly taking down Grandpa, Eon approaches his grandson and asks if he knows why the Omnitrix only allows transformations for 10 minutes, revealing that it's due to the watch's safety system, preventing alien DNA from taking over the user's genes. The villain then says he can easily break this system and will do so to take over Ben's body. Eon explains that ever since he appeared on Earth 200 years ago, his body has weakened each time he uses his time powers. Therefore, he intends to seize control of Ben and exploit his potential to activate Armageddon, opening a space portal to bring his entire race to conquer Earth. Taking advantage of the boy being tied up, Eon begins to tamper with the Omnitrix, causing Ben to transform into Eon himself. But unlike the current weakened form, it's a new, younger, and much more powerful version. Seeing his double, the older version of Eon thanks Ben for his sacrifice and says that there can't be two versions of one person in the same world, then vanishes. Now alone, Gwen tries to talk to her cousin, who is now Eon, for help. But Eon replies that Ben no longer exists, and he is now free to take over Earth with his restored power. The villain reactivates the Hand of Armageddon, causing it to glow intensely, and all the alien spaceships appear in the space near Earth. While Eon is distractedly opening the space portal, Grandpa tells Gwen to use her foot to push the wrench, the laser tool from earlier, and she does. With the tool aimed at the chains, Gwen activates its laser mechanism, freeing Grandpa and allowing him to free her. Finally, after being released, he tells his granddaughter to hide while he tries to find a way to disable the portal. To do this, Grandpa grabs a high-voltage power cable and delivers a massive shock to Eon's chest, simultaneously using his own body to channel the current through the artifact and stop Armageddon. As soon as she realizes Grandpa's ready to sacrifice himself, Gwen starts talking to Ben inside Eon's body, trying to convince him to help. But this doesn't work, and the villain continues to advance towards her, knocking the wrench from her hand while saying those are his last words. Just as he's about to finish Gwen, the retired plumbers all appear to help. But, like typical cannon fodder, they are easily disarmed and completely defeated by the villain's henchmen. With no one left to stop him, Eon prepares to deliver the final blow, while Gwen keeps trying to talk to Ben. This finally awakens her cousin's consciousness and causes him to regain control of his body, starting an internal conflict. After a brief struggle, Ben gains control of his body and uses Eon's powers to destroy his soldiers, freeing the plumbers. Once that's done, the boy uses the Omnitrix to revert to human form and goes to his grandpa's side to help him, working with the plumbers to get him away from the space portal. As soon as Max disconnects the cables, the artifact deactivates and the spaceships disappear from the sky, returning to their dimension. After the battle, Ben starts walking toward the group of plumbers when he realizes everyone has frozen in time. Suddenly, the older version of Eon appears, grabs the boy, and throws him hard against a wall. To avoid a collision, Ben transforms into Wild Mutt and lands on a pipe, simultaneously dodging the attacks Eon unleashes. Even in beast form, Ben manages to dodge the blasts and deliver a headbutt that sends the villain flying. Immediately after being hit, Eon fires an energy beam towards Gwen, forcing Ben to drop everything to save her. Though time is tight, Wild Mutt swings like Tarzan and manages to get his cousin out of the danger zone just in time, landing behind the villain. To end the fight, Ben hits Eon with a blow so powerful it hurls him into the space portal, shattering the artifact and causing it to disappear along with the villain. After the battle, they rush back to the school's talent show to make it in time. After a dance performance by a group of girls, the host appears to announce the final act and calls for Ben and his cousin. Still transformed, Wild Mutt appears mid-stage and terrifies everyone. Right behind him, Gwen also appears and does everything she can to distract the audience until the 10-minute transformation wears off. As time is about to run out, the Omnitrix symbol starts flashing red, and Gwen announces that her big magic trick, a transformation, will now take place. She then drapes a curtain over Wild Mutt and waits a few seconds until Ben steps out from under the cloth in his human form, which leaves everyone, including the bullies, thoroughly impressed. Despite this amazing magic trick, the two cousins still don't win the talent competition and only get second place. But now, the most important thing is that they are true plumbers and have saved the world. This is a movie adapted from the Ben 10 cartoon released in 2007. So, as you know, back then, the special effects and all that were a bit cheesy.